think back to the conversation I had with Nana right after the case was closed.
It sounds a bit contrived to me. I feel like it's too cut and dry for a lunatic to have come up with it.
As I try to roust my scattered thoughts from the quagmire they're stuck in. Wait, hold on just one second. I spot another name I recognize in the documents.
Shugo?
Why the hell is this name here?
The sun's gone down, and the streets are illuminated with the dazzling array of colors from various neon signs.
Bye! Good effort today, you guys!
Kazuna parts ways with her friends from the theater group after throwing a hearty wave in their direction. People scurry along busily downtown, lit by the faint glow emanating from the electric lamps. She pulls out her pocket watch.
Oh my, look at the time!
She'd gone to Milk Hall with her friends after rehearsal. They had only planned to stay for a short while, but then they had gotten engrossed in conversation. Since her mother is taking a rare break from work, she's probably waiting for Kazuna with food ready back in Kanda.
I'd better hurry home.
She's absorbed in her thoughts while she walks along a deserted road. Kazuna doesn't do this during rehearsal, as she focuses hard on the task at hand. However, when she's alone, there's no helping it. Her mind's brimming with jumbled, confused thoughts. The search for her missing sister stemmed out of her own feelings of guilt. Add to the fact that her father had been deceiving her the entire time, though she hadn't lived with him for a long while. And above all else, there's the matter with the man she met, who's dealing with this case.
Shugo-san.
Kazuna finds herself sighing as she looks up at the cloudy winter sky. She thought him rather unsociable and frankly a bit scary the first time they met. He seemed the sullen, silent type. When spoken to, he'd only respond with short quips. Kazuna had even entertained the possibility that he hated her. However, she soon realized that she was completely off the mark. His blunt attitude and sarcastic remarks were just ways to hide his embarrassment, since he was an awkward guy. He just happened to have his own special way of worrying about her. Kazuna had probably become smitten with him the moment she noticed that. She told him how she felt when they made the trip to Zushi together. She thought that they had a really special connection. However, now things have become... The chilly winter breeze blowing across the water makes Kazuna shiver. Inevitably, one's thoughts will start to take a turn for the depressing if they're pondering things over in such cold weather.
I can't be doing this.
She shakes her head to chase away the depressing thoughts.
He told me to wait until the case was solved.
On the other hand, Shugo might be doing this out of consideration for her. And that's why he was so torn up about it. The very thought cheers her up. Kazuna's strong point is always looking on the bright side of things. Tomorrow she'll head over to see him and help him with the search. His feelings for her might change if they can find Yura quickly. This is no time for her to be moping about.
Okay!
Kazuna nods confidently to herself and feels as though things are looking up a bit. But the moment she feels flushed with relief, Kazuna notices something.
Huh?
She hears the soft crunch of footsteps trampling snow from behind her. She'd slowed down her pace considerably while she was immersed in her reverie. Nonetheless, she can definitely hear the footsteps plodding along behind her at regular intervals.
Who could that be?
A chill runs down her spine. How could she not have noticed until now? Terror causes her to lurch to a halt.
Huh?
At the very same instant, the sound of footsteps behind her ceases. Kazuna holds her breath. and waits for them to start again. There's no doubt about it. Somebody's following her.
But why would they do this?
It's not just the cold that causes her entire body to start trembling. Kazuna's pulse races. Her terror grows as she stands beneath a flickering streetlight. She can't take this anymore. She's off and running before she even realizes what she's doing. And from behind comes the inexorable sound of footsteps chasing her.
Why?
Kazuna's mind races helplessly as she gasps for air. She glances around for help, but there's nobody nearby since it's so late at night. She tries screaming, but all she can choke out is a dry wheeze. Kazuna's so terrified she can't even force herself to turn around.
I need to at least get myself to somewhere with people.
As she runs along the shore of Shinobazu Pond, she can see the lights of downtown up ahead, which fills her with a small sense of relief. She's tripped up by a pile of snow on the pathway.
Ow!
Her mind goes blank for a split second as her rear end comes crashing down onto the frozen ground. As she rubs her aching behind and prepares to get up and run once again, Kazuna looks up to find the person who was chasing her, standing right before her very eyes.
The girl makes a relieved expression after seeing his face. Paying no heed, pulls back his fist and drives it into her gut hard. She crumples in half and collapses onto the pathway. Stares down at the girl by his feet, a cold smile playing about his lips. Finally, he's bagged the prize. Now she will be... As mumbles to himself, he picks up the unconscious girl and stalks off into the darkness, away from bright lights of downtown. After he's carried her into the adjoining storage room. She's relatively lightweight, but carrying around an unconscious person is rather strenuous work indeed. But there's a payoff at the end of all his hard work. Finally, he's gotten what he's desired. A grin of satisfaction spreads over his face. He takes a sip of black tea before getting up from his chair. The girl should have come to by now. She's the sacrifice he's worked so long and hard to obtain. She might put up a fight to begin with, but it's only a matter of time before she gives in. But right at that moment... What? An unexpected knocking at the door jerks out of his reverie. Why now, of all times? He doesn't have any guests scheduled to come tonight, and his subordinates are prohibited from visiting the atelier. That's why he's decided to execute his master plan. But why? Why? As though in mockery of bewilderment. Another sharp knock echoes throughout the room. Casts a perfunctory glance around his atelier. There are a bunch of paintings and sculptures in progress, scattered haphazardly around the place. There's no evidence lying around that points to his crimes. It shouldn't be a problem as long as they only see the atelier. Yes, no problem. So long as they don't take a look in the adjoining room. Once again, there's that incessant knocking sound. Clucks his tongue in exasperation and heads for the door. No matter who this person turns out to be, he'll just turn them away by calling their attention to how late it is.
Okay, I'm coming.
Opens the door to the atelier.
Hello there. I apologize for calling so late at night, Akao Ikuma-sensei.
The man bows, a sarcastic smile plastered across his face.
Well, if it isn't Takashiro-san, what brings you here at this hour?
Akao chooses his words carefully in order to mask the anxiety in his heart. He cannot afford to be careless here. This man has a very intimate relationship with the girl.
Oh, am I interrupting something? When we first met, you said that I was welcome here anytime.
Well, you're not exactly interrupting anything, but...
Pressured by Takashiro's attitude, that's all he can say in way of a reply.
Well, that's fantastic. The truth is, I've always been interested in the places where artists do their work.
The man impudently invites himself into the atelier.
Wow, it's a lot cleaner than I expected it to be.
Takashiro scans the room as though he's searching for something.
Right.
Akao's suspicions begin to rise as he watches over the man with a growing sense of loathing. He's acting completely different than the time they met at the International Theater. His attitude is way too familiar and insolent. Has he possibly noticed something?
Hey, Akao-sensei, is something wrong? You're looking kinda pale.
The man says with a laugh.
Nah, it's nothing.
Akao feigns a smile, keeping his rising irritation in check. At any rate, his top priority is chasing the guy out of the atelier without anything happening. At the very least, he cannot be allowed to see what's in the storage room.
I'm happy you came to visit me, Takashiro-san, but I'm kind of tied up with some work at the moment.
He puts on a forced display of weariness and sits down in front of one of the canvases. However, as though Takashiro didn't even hear what he just said.
Man, you really use some strange motifs, eh?
The man keeps talking as he inspects the work scattered around the atelier up close.
Quite fanciful, no? This painting of an angel in particular, I find marvelous.
Why, thank you.
Akao can only give a vague reply. He can't figure out where Takashiro is trying to go with this innocent act of praise.
But the thing is, Akao-sensei...
Takashiro suddenly turns around, his face completely serious.
Perhaps it's just my imagination, but the motifs in these paintings look kinda familiar.
He shoots Akao a questioning look.
Well, who knows? There are countless works of arts in the world. There's always a possibility you might find something similar.
I'm not talking about artsy stuff.
Takashiro chuckles.
Let's be frank with one another, Akao-sensei. Most of the works you have in here are created in the likeness of things found in the scriptures of a certain religious group called Senri, correct?
Well...
Akao nods, relieved. It's not that big of a deal. It's already an open secret in the art world that he's a Senri member. The man then puts on an exaggerated look of shock and says,
Does that mean the rumors I heard about you being one of the executive members in Senri are true?
Do you have a problem with that, Takashiro-san? My personal faith has nothing to do with others, right?
Takashiro stands up and takes a close look at each one of the works of art.
No, I wasn't trying to criticize you for your beliefs, Akao-san.
He continues on as he threads his way through the paintings.
However, there's yet another rumor that's been weighing on my mind.
Huh?
Akao's heart becomes heavy with dread.
You know, the rumor saying the person behind all those bizarre serial murders in Ueno was a member of Senri.
How the hell does he know about Fukamitsu? Akao had used her because he was able to cover up her ties to Senri.
You're familiar with the woman in question, right, Akao-san?
No, I'm not exactly sure what happened.
Akao decides to play innocent. There's no way Takashiro has any sort of evidence. Akao needs to be careful with his words, in the event that Takashiro's trying to make him slip up.
You didn't know about Fukamitsu, even though you're one of the executives?
That's correct. I don't have many chances to meet with the rank-and-file members. However, if you allow me to express my thoughts, Apparently, Fukamizu-san wasn't that devout of a follower.
No? What makes you say that?
Well, I know for a fact that there aren't any members of our church who would do something as terrible as committing murder.
So you're telling me that Senri has absolutely nothing to do with those murders that took place in Ueno?
Exactly.
I see.
The man flashes another carefree smile. He seems to have accepted what Akao says, but his true intentions are still unknown.
Takashiro-san, was your business here to insult me and my church with those baseless rumors?
No, not at all.
Takashiro shrugs, a wry smile on his face.
I suppose it's due to my job, but once I found something that bothers me, it's pretty much impossible for me to let it go.
Is our business concluded? You know that your suspicions were totally unfounded, Takashiro-san.
Well, I can't really say that at the moment.
Takashiro bends over nonchalantly and scoops up a small piece of something from the floor of the atelier.
Takashiro-san, what exactly are you insinuating here?
Akao is no longer able to conceal his burgeoning frustration.
Actually, there's something else that's been bothering me.
He fiddles with a small scrap of cloth he just picked up and says,
Akao-sensei, in essence, it's about your artwork.
Huh?
The serial murders happened almost as though they were plucked right out of Senri's scriptures. A beast that consumes human flesh, an angel with dark wings, and a skewered maiden. All of these motifs are printed in the apocalyptic Book of Purgatory put out by Senri.
Oh, please, Takashiro-san. Even you're caught up in the rubbish people have been spouting.
Akao continues on, maintaining his calm demeanor.
The prophecies are made with the powers our leader possesses. There aren't any other reasons for making them. Besides, all suspicions should have been cleared up after the true culprit was arrested.
But Akao-sensei, that true culprit you're talking about has ties to Senri, you know?
Takashiro says that as though shocked, shrugging his shoulders afterward.
Don't you think the circumstances have changed? Furthermore, let's take a look at Otaha's dismembered corpse. That murder, and that murder only, clearly doesn't match up with the other crimes Fukamizu committed. It just doesn't fit.
Takashiro appears to think for a moment, then continues.
She did confess, but we can't be sure how credible her statement is, since she was deranged. Her statement was virtually unintelligible. Besides, the rest of Otaha's body parts weren't found below the chapel. Yeah, the way her body was left almost resembles a work of art.
He mumbles.
And then we have Ayasaki Takiko's murder. People are calling it the work of another serial killer, but the way her corpse was left follows a motif found in Senri's prophecies.
Okay, so what are you trying to say here, Takashiro-san? You keep beating around the bush. I'm not exactly sure what your point is.
To put it bluntly, I suspect that Senri is behind this string of murders. Akao-sensei, you seriously don't know anything about this?
He shoots a questioning glance at Akao. The cool, calculated look Takashiro gives makes Akao slightly relieved.
This shouldn't present much of a problem. Takashiro Shugo doesn't have any evidence. That's why he's trying to goad me.
Akao thinks.
Well, if you're speaking the truth, that's quite disastrous. Okay, I got it. I don't think I can do much, but I hope you'll let me help you.
What do you mean, help?
I'll casually bring it up with some people in the church. I would hate to think a few misguided followers could bring down the entire faith.
Ah, I see.
Takashiro nods, a mysterious smile playing about his lips.
Well, Takashiro-san, thank you for the information. As I mentioned earlier, I have some important business I must attend to, so...
Everything will be alright. From what Takashiro's been saying, it's apparent that he has absolutely no proof of anything. But at that moment, Takashiro sighs and mutters.
Well, at least I got something valuable tonight.
And then he sticks a small scrap of something black into his coat pocket. Akao's heart skips a beat. He caught a glimpse of that object. The scrap Takashiro had been hiding in his hand the entire time was... a crow's feather? It's one of the black feathers he used to decorate that whore's corpse! Supposedly, Akao had cleaned everything up after his gruesome work was finished. But of all the people to find something, it had to be this man?
Well, I'm sorry for keeping you so late, Akao-sensei.
Takashiro bows and starts walking toward the entrance.
Takashiro-san!
Yes?
What did you just have in your hand?
Oh, you mean this?
He faces Akao and pulls out the black feather.
How did you?
Akao is so flabbergasted, the words won't even come out. His heart beats like a jackhammer inside his chest.
Well, I just saw it lying around. I picked it up because it kind of made me curious.
Takashiro chuckles merrily.
And you know, I'm the type of guy that just can't leave things alone once they pique my interest. I'm gonna think long and hard about this feather after I get home.
He sticks the black feather back into his pocket.
Why, I might just stumble upon some new connection.
There's no doubt left in Akao's mind. Takashiro Shugo understands perfectly well what that feather means. There's a very low possibility that if he handed that feather over to police forensics, they could determine that it's a match with the ones on that harlot.
Takashiro-san, I'm sorry to ask this so abruptly, but...
Akao asked while using his fingers to search for something on top of the table.
Did you tell anybody that you were coming over to visit tonight?
Nah, it was just a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing.
I see.
Well, that makes things convenient. Akao's fingertips brush against a small sculpting knife. He quickly snatches it up and hides it behind his back.
Well, I'd best be on my way, Akao-sensei.
Takashiro once again heads for the door, as easygoing as ever.
Oh, Takashiro-san, you should definitely come over again to visit sometime. Hopefully next time we can talk about something else.
Akao draws closer to Takashiro, acting as though he's going to send him off. There's no turning back if he's going to do this. Ever since he killed all those people during the war, he hasn't felt anything resembling guilt.
Let's see, how about we talk about art next time,
Akao closes the gap while making small talk.
Sure, I'll look forward to that.
Takashiro smiles and opens the door to the atelier. His back is now within reach. Akao silently lifts up his right arm and prepares to strike. However, somebody grabs his wrist midway. He turns around to hear,
"Too bad for you, Akao-kuma. I never forgive those who try to hurt my friends."
After hearing that icy-cold voice, I turn around to see Toji in a standoff with Akao.
What?
Oops, sorry for not introducing you sooner. She's my friend, Aoki Toji. The truth is, I had her sneak in from the back while I was distracting you. I shrug. Of course, I was just preparing for the worst possible outcome. I suppose you could call that another holdover from my line of work, eh? Akao's features transform completely. I guess he's realized I've completely pulled a fast one on him. You know, I actually prepared this feather on my own. I didn't find it inside your atelier. You were pretty much worrying over nothing. This little feather doesn't prove anything. I pull out the feather from my pocket and casually toss it aside. A low growl issues forth from between Akao's lips as he bites them in frustration. I can see their respective limbs trembling as Toji holds back his right arm. And then...
You tricked me?
At that very moment, Akao moves so quickly, so deftly, that neither of us expects it. A line of blood drips down Toji's cheek after she jumps clear. What the? We've totally underestimated Akao's strength. I thought Toji would be more than enough to subdue a weak little artist. Akao steps back to create some distance from us, brandishing the small knife in his right hand all the while. He glares at us with an expression of abject rage. Give it up, Akao Ikuma. You seem to be confident in your abilities, but that probably won't work against the two of us. I carefully drop into a fighting stance and close the gap. However, a look of scorn appears on Akao's face.
What kind of idiot would fight under these circumstances?
He starts running while he speaks. Akao! I'm standing at the entrance to the atelier, and Toji's guarding the rear entrance. However, he doesn't head for either one of us. He runs straight for the third option, the window at the back of the atelier. And there's a loud crash of glass shattering. Akao! I dash over to the window. To my dismay, the rear of the atelier is shrouded in dense greenery. Akao's already disappeared into the darkness. God damn it!
Give it up, Shugo. It's useless trying to chase after him when it's this dark.
Toji addresses me calmly from behind as I place my hand on the window ledge, ready to vault outside. But...
Besides, there's something more important at hand. I found something unbelievable when I searched the building.
Huh? I had Toji search the atelier in case I wouldn't be able to provoke Akao into doing something. Did you find some kind of evidence pointing to his crimes? Enthusiasm naturally creeps into my voice. We need something more substantial in terms of evidence in order to corner him.
Nope. I found Kazuna.
Let's Start Project.